I got you.
All right, creatures of the night, welcome to Talking Taker, episode 192 of our encyclopedic exploration, digging up the career of the greatest professional wrestling character of all time, The Undertaker. I want to thank you for joining us for yet another round of Dead Man Talking. My name is Alex Dorio, and I am one of your co-hosts, one of the creatures of the night, and I am joined, as always, by my tag team partner, my wrestling buddy, my fellow creature of the night. Despite all his rage, he is still just a rat in a cage, Mr. Travis White. Travis, we're not talking about a cage per se here tonight. We're talking about something so much bigger, so much badder than that. We're talking Hell in a Cell, specifically, there it is, the very first one of all time for our October bonus episode. We are going back to October of 1997 for what you and I unanimously decided was our top Undertaker match of all time against Shawn Michaels, Bad Blood, Hell in a Cell.
Probably, I mean, if you told me to pick my favorite match of all time, this would be up there. I mean, top three probably.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's
Absolutely.
Talk for another day, but probably top three matches of all time. Taker or Shawn, obviously, or just anybody. So, yeah. But it's funny how we both had that as our top one. So, yeah, we just had to go back to this. It's the 4th anniversary.
24th anniversary. Very important milestone.
Yeah. Important. So, but no, it just happens. We just thought it'd be a good idea to go dig back into this because, again, we discussed this one obviously back on episode, what was it,
42.
42, okay. So
yes.
It's 150 weeks later, or 150 episodes later.
Isn't that wild?
So that's nuts. But yeah, it's cool. We're going to do a watch along with this one because we didn't do it with the first time through. We did it watch along with the Hell in a Cell with Mick Foley and with the Armageddon one.
Yep.
So this will be our, the trifecta.
Yeah, so we felt like, we're doing these monthly bonus episodes, looking for different topics to talk about. This one seemed like an obvious one and definitely wanted to time it around the anniversary for it here. So it'll be cool to revisit it, to give us a chance to talk about it in a new light, since it was our number one Undertaker match of all time. And it's been so long since we talked about it on the show. We'll be able to look at it with a fresh perspective. I did watch it back in March when we were going through making our all-time top 20 episodes because I had to confirm in my head. I had a gut feeling it was my number one.
Right.
But I watched this one and I watched the WrestleMania 25 match, which was both our number twos, pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had to watch them back to back just to make that big decision here. But excited to watch it back with you because I don't think you and I have watched it since we were in middle school together.
Yeah. Dude, it's probably been, since 98, 9, something since we watched this match together. So, yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. Yeah, it'll be 20-something years we haven't watched this match together. So, yeah. And this was one of the first matches I watched once I got back into wrestling. So, I believe you told me to rent this, and so I did. So
yeah. I can't remember if we watched it together renting it, or I guess if you remember, maybe you rented it by yourself, but I feel like I remember watching it with you at some point. And this was
we definitely did.
Right when we were first becoming friends, like fall of 97. Mm-hmm. So that's when we first met each other, 6th grade, and both everybody at our school liked wrestling. All the dudes did at least, and some of the girls. So
yep.
It was something fun to talk about, and friendship lasted a lot longer.
Yeah, we have been to many Hells in the Cells. So.
We've seen them all.
Yeah, this is the one that started them all. So we'll get into that as we get into the match and stuff. But yeah, this is it. This is the first one, man. There can only be one first, and what a great way to make a first impression.
Exactly.
And we'll talk about some of the things that we actually talked about. Some of the weird stuff in this match that's kind of like, this is the first of its kind, but they kind of break the rules immediately from the get-go.
Oh,
but
yeah.
We'll get into that as we go, but it's really cool because it just sets a precedent for what's to come, and it builds on, the legacy of Hell in a Cell builds on itself as it goes and goes and goes, but it all starts right here. So
It really does, and we'll talk about all that, and that's part of why it holds such a fond place in our heart, and why we elevate it so much is because of the legacy that it leaves behind. Interestingly, of course, the fans. We asked all the Talking Taker creatures of the night out there to rate their top 20 Undertaker matches of all time. Back when we had our finale episode back in March. They only rated this one at number 8, so that was a pretty huge gap between it. Obviously, they put it in the top 20. People still loved it, but it only ranked number 8 there for people. Actually tied with the Boneyard match from WrestleMania in 2020. So interesting. I just the fans' number 1 match was WrestleMania 25. I think that's to be expected, but we will discuss all the reasons why. We see this one as a notch above that one as we get into it later here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. But just what a great timestamp of history we're about to enter into as well. We'll get into all that as we break this match down and talk about it. But just all the stuff happening in professional wrestling, WCW, ECW, WWF. It's what an incredible time to be a fan. Conrad Thompson always says on his podcast, 1997 is his favorite year in the history of professional wrestling. And it's hard to deny that, for someone our age, it's hard to deny that's not the greatest year. It could definitely be the number 1 year. I wouldn't dispute you,
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. This match is a big reason why I feel like it really jump starts the storylines and the energy around the WWE, WWF at the time, who were getting their butts kicked by WCW back then. And I feel like this match, of course, along with the screw job and all the things that come after that, it's really helped boost them along. So we'll get into all that, but as we like to do here on these monthly episodes, we want to talk about this month in Undertaker news. And man, we missed the boat on last month's episode. It came out just a few days before the big major news drop, not just in Death Valley. This is some Hollywood news, as the Undertaker is about to become a Netflix star here in the month of October. October 5th, Escape the Undertaker, coming out on Netflix, starring our boy, the Dead Man, as well as the New Day. I mean, what was your initial reaction to this, Travis? Because it came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. Nobody leaked this. Nobody talked about it. No one said it was in production. Nothing. It was just it almost seems like a joke when you see the trailer. It's like, this is either going to be very, very bad or very, very good. So
there's no in between.
I'm excited for it, dude. I mean, it's Taker. It's another thing. It's another thing to look at, to watch, to talk about. And it's choose your own adventure. Dude. So there's endless hours of fun.
That takes it up to a new level for me. Having it be just like a old school Halloween special with Undertaker and New Day, that would have been fun, and that would have been cool, and I'm sure we would have enjoyed it and had some laughs at it. But to have it be this choose your own adventure thing, which Netflix has done a couple of these. I haven't watched any of them.
I've never done one.
No, but it's so unique. I'm excited to participate in it. To be a part of it, and it makes it. Yeah, I think it will. I don't know. I'm intrigued to see if non-wrestling fans will respond to it, or casual fans will watch it, because it's on Netflix. It's not on Peacock.
Not on Peacock.
No, it's on the number 1 streaming service in the world. So it's gonna show up on people's feeds, and people are gonna be like, "What the heck, Undertaker?"
Yeah.
I used to watch him when I was a kid, and get into this sort of stuff. So it's so unique, so cool.
And what a cool spot for New Day. We talked about how in the what's it called? Last Ride documentary, they were backstage with him and stuff, and I've heard all 3 of them, talking in interviews about him and how much he means to them, and then just to see that, we're gonna see it played out. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of those Goosebumps books. Remember when the Goosebumps had your Choose Your Own Adventure?
Of course.
Shoot. Goosebumps were already awesome, and then you got to choose your own adventure, and it's just like you replay it and reread it. It was fun, man. So this is gonna be right up my alley for 1995ish.
Oh yeah, and we've said we've said throughout the history of this podcast, like the Undertaker could have done so many more things like this throughout his career, and he could have been a movie star. They could have done things with the Undertaker character and done movies about the background of it. We had that graphic novel that you talked about, that backstory. So it's cool. Finally, we talked about the Boneyard match. Felt like just an old '80s action movie, and now finally, the Dead Man gets to be a part of this Netflix special. It's so out of nowhere, something
bizarre.
We did not expect, and man, I cannot wait. I'm gonna have my popcorn ready, like that gif of Big E dancing around. I'm just gonna be gobbling it up, man, to watch this. I can't wait. I can't wait to see the Easter eggs. I'm sure there's maybe some Paul Bearer Easter eggs or some random stuff in there. Maybe Kane will show up. Who knows, dude? Possibilities are endless.
Speaking of Taker and Kane was on SmackDown a few weeks ago. The mayor
of
the county was in the ring. And we're going to talk about his debut on this episode here.
Indeed
so
we
I'm
are.
trying to bring there we go. Kane debuted in this match we're about to talk about, and he just was on SmackDown a few weeks ago in Knoxville. So crazy, as Mayor Citizen Kane, not even as this character. So, anyway. Yeah,
well,
it's gonna be fun.
I know our listeners, the big question on their mind is, are we going to cover this Escape the Undertaker movie? How are we going to do it? Of course we're going to cover it. We're definitely going to dedicate a whole episode to covering Escape the Undertaker. So it's coming out right around the time that this episode is dropping, but we want to make sure that we both have time to watch it. We both have, I'm hopefully going to watch it the day it comes out, but schedule's allowing, but we want to make sure we have time to watch it and get time to record it. And we want to give all of you guys out there a chance to watch it as well. So we're not going to put out the episode immediately. But maybe like on Halloween or something like that. Maybe we might drop it or right before Halloween, something like that. So we'll try to get it out to you before the month is over. So this is you get 2 bonus episodes in the month of October because this was just bonus news to us that this was even happening.
Oh
so,
insane!
It was not in our plans, but we had to squeeze it in there, and we will definitely talk about it and dedicate a full episode to it. So be on the lookout for it. We got some special plans, maybe some special guests who might be invited along to talk about that ride as well. So just be on the lookout for it. We'll let you know. And speaking of special guests, I got to mention this, Travis. This happened right around the time our last episode dropped as well. I got to meet up with one of our listeners and one of our former guests on the podcast. Watch along, Tommy, who we had him on that for a special episode of the show, and we did the first Raw from the Manhattan Center where Undertaker was in the main event. And you all heard him in the comments section of all of our episodes for so long, man. He's like the Forrest Gump of wrestling. Had so many great stories. But I was actually in New York with my wife for a little vacation a few weeks ago, and I remember Tommy being from New York. I shot him a line on Twitter, said, dude, I don't know what part of New York you're in. I don't know if you have any interest, but we're going to be here tomorrow night. Let's meet up for dinner if you want. And he messaged me right back. Him and his wife came out after work. I met up and just had a lovely evening, hanging out with each other, talking Taker for a little bit, and just getting to know each other, getting to know each other's families. Just something I never would have expected when we started this off in 2017. So very cool. Wish you could have been there, Travis, but obviously you weren't in New York with me, so
no, not this time. I've been
I couldn't get you on a plane
with you.
I
couldn't get on the plane fast enough. So,
but man, thanks to Tommy for doing that. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Awesome. And if any of our listeners are ever in the same town as us, just send us a message. Love to meet some of the other folks.
No doubt, that'd be great. Great. Yeah, that's one of the, I guess advantages, or not advantages, one of the cool, just extra credit from this podcast. We talked about it on our last episode, just getting to meet you guys. We got to hang out with some of you in person, some of you on here, but getting to meet you guys in person is really, 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 really neat, because we just started this as 2 fans and don't care if, anybody but us to listen to it. So the fact that anybody cares enough to listen and to meet us is really, really fun. So It's really cool. So.
Absolutely. So hopefully, we'll get to meet some other folks in the future. But man, that's all really the news and notes I got, Travis. Anything else that we need to
as
mention?
of this recording, I have not got to watch the Broken Skull with Seth Rollins, so I don't know if he mentions Undertaker, but I haven't seen anything online about him mentioning him, so who knows. But if there is a mention of him or something noteworthy, we'll get back to that on the Netflix Choose Your Own Adventure bonus episode. So.
Can't believe you just said that sentence. That's
yeah,
wild.
it's not
Wild.
Yeah, crazy.
Well, let's get into tonight's business here. We're talking, like we said, Bad Blood 1997, In Your House, the main event, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels here. This took place on October 5th, 1997. And it was, of course, sadly, this was
early.
Yeah, weirdly early in the month. Sadly, this was the day that Brian Pillman was found dead in his hotel room before night of this show. So that kind of has a big air over the festivities this evening. And we talked about it on our episode covering this, but Pillman and Undertaker never really had any interaction with each other. But man, imagine if they did, dude. Could
have been like X-Pac and Taker.
Yeah,
probably.
like a 93, 94 Brian Pillman going up against Undertaker could have been really, really fun.
Been a lot of fun. A lot of fun to have seen. So.
Yeah, or even him trying to do that loose cannon character and, playing mind games with Taker, breaking the fourth wall sort of stuff could have been interesting.
Okay, as we speak, there is a commercial on TV for Let There Be Carnage, and it's got Taker and Kane in it as well. And it's like spliced with Taker and Kane and Venom and Carnage. Okay. I'm not even kidding. I'm watching it right now.
It's on Raw.
And Venom, it's on Raw. So I had Raw on in the background, and I just looked down and Taker and Kane are standing off from Hell in a Cell, and then all kind of other times they're choke slamming each other and coming face to face, and it's Venom and Carnage. So wow, that's a live breaking news right now, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news on the show. You're welcome. So. Anyway, that's hilarious.
That's great. I love
ridiculous.
that.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll tell you what, I will not be seeing Let There Be Carnage.
I'll be renting it on Redbox probably one day. But I watched
Venom was
probably
it was probably the worst superhero movie I've ever seen.
Green Lantern, my least favorite. I took it out.
Yeah.
Didn't finish it.
But
yeah, Venom was pretty bad.
I put Venom below it. I can't believe they're making a second one.
Yeah.
Anyway. I'm sure all our listeners remember the storyline going into this match, but let's briefly set it up here, Travis, because I think that is such a huge reason of why this match holds such a special place because of the long-term storytelling that goes into it. And, most Hell in a Cell matches in the modern era of today, they're Hell in a Cell matches because it's that month on the calendar. Yeah. And it's the main event.
July.
Well, yeah. And it's going inside Hell in a Cell. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Not this time, man. This is one of my favorite storylines ever. You have the beginning of it really at SummerSlam 97 where Shawn's the ref between Undertaker and Bret Hart. He accidentally hits Undertaker with the chair, costs Taker the match and the belt. It's so organic. It makes sense. Shawn is just really starting to become this arrogant DX era of Shawn that we're getting into. He's sort of evolving into that. That's coinciding with this feud with The Undertaker. Undertaker's pissed over losing the belt. They had that episode of Raw where Shawn murders Taker with another chair shot around this time.
He's bleeding and everything.
Oh, yeah. Which we never really saw Undertaker bleed up to that point. That might have been, if it wasn't the first time, it was one of the very first times. Yeah. And then that goes into Ground Zero, which is a awesome spectacle of a match. The first time they'd ever faced each other, which was wild that those two guys could go that long without facing each other. But the beauty of that is this wild, chaotic brawl, and they beat up all the referees, and then the officials come out. They beat up all of them. The whole roster comes out. It ends in this big, giant schmoz with Taker diving over the top rope. And that's why they have to invent Hell in a Cell, because to try to control the chaos between these guys. It's like no chaos we've ever seen before, so we got to invent this massive structure to keep all the action in there to finally settle this rivalry. I mean, it's so perfect.
It's how you tell a story. One thing builds on another, and like the match isn't made because it's October. It's made because you got to keep people up, which is what a cage match began as, But this is a cage match, the next generation.
To the next level.
It's the next level of a cage match. And we can talk about once the match starts, just kind of the structure itself and kind of where it came from, and if it really was the first, but it's kind of not. But we'll get into that later. But yeah, I mean, they had to, you've got to have something to kind of put a stamp on. We've got to get these guys contained. Got to have a winner. Got to have a fair fight, and got to have one guy walk out.
And of course, we kind of mentioned a little bit. This is really the beginning of D-Generation X, the original version of it. You got Shawn. He's got Triple H by his side now. He's got Rick Rude as his insurance policy, and they've got China added to the group here. So they're really becoming, really just in the past month or so, this new heel faction that's starting to run the show here. And then perhaps the biggest side storyline going on amongst all of this is we've had the Kane storyline building up as just a side note, like this separate thing going on with the Undertaker since May,
spring.
I guess. I think in May or June is when it really starts to come in. Paul Bearer is using as leverage over the Undertaker this deep, dark secret of Kane, his long-lost brother from their past. He's on TV every week cutting these amazing promos, telling the backstory that only the way that Paul Bearer could do it, and no one else could get it over and make it as entertaining as he makes it. And it's just this huge mystery. We've never seen Kane. We have no idea what Kane looks like. Paul Bearer never tells us when Kane is coming, so we're always, on the edge of our seats. And I think actually before this, he hadn't really mentioned Kane for a few weeks. I may be wrong about that, but if I recall, which helps add to the surprise when we do see him later on, is they kind of tampered down on it a little bit before it hit us with that surprise. But, dude, just so many things converging in this one night.
Yeah, and then you got Brett and Shawn story going, been going on since '96. But main event WrestleMania, and that allegedly we're going to main event WrestleMania '97. Didn't happen because Shawn's lost his smile or whatever, all that jazz. But anyway, and then you get the rise of Steve Austin too. It's just so many things are happening. But yeah, Brett is the third character in this. Brett, Shawn, and Taker, which would go on to Survivor Series too, and Taker saying, "Hey, why don't you just put the belt on me?" And then I'll drop it.
I got an idea.
The next night, I got an idea. No. But no, in all seriousness, as a company guy, he's like, if they can't figure it out, I'll take this fall, or I'll win it and drop it the next night. Who cares? But anyway, so it's hard. A lot of people forget that Taker was so heavily involved in their storyline in '97.
Oh yeah, you talk about '97 being so awesome. And that's part of the reason why is there's so much going on, and of course it's not perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's all good. It all makes sense, but so much of it does. So much of it is logical. So much of it is these hot, exciting, unique characters all converging, and Stone Cold's in there, the Hart Foundation's in there, Undertaker's in there, DX is in there, Nation of Domination is in there,
Goldust,
Road Warriors, Ken Shamrock, and any of those guys could go against each other on any night, and there's backstory with it, and it was a great time to be alive and be watching on Monday nights.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Because WCW was hot too.
Killing it.
Hotter than ever.
Killing it.
Hot as they've ever been. Yeah.
Killing it. So, yeah, good times for sure.
Excuse me. Well, we'll talk some more about it. We'll tell the backstory some more. We will talk about where we were as 11-year-olds back in 1997 watching this match. and as 35-year-olds now. And let's give everybody the timestamp on the Peacock to watch it along with us. Of course, if you can't watch it along, we will make it as entertaining as we can just through the audio. But if you'd like to join us, if you'd like to watch it along, this is going to be on In Your House, Season 3, Episode 6, Bad Blood. And
are we going to do the French and the Spanish commentary like Peacock had at Extreme Rules?
Yeah, if you want to.
Over to the main feed? Okay.
Sure. We'll do it for our French listeners.
And then they came back from like a breakaway, and Pat McAfee started talking Spanish. It was amazing. He's so good. Anyway.
Well, I will say, don't search for Bad Blood on the Peacock. No. That's what I tried to do, and it came up.
It brings up
the Bad Blood pay-per-views, but not the Bad Blood pay-per-view that I want. You have to search for In Your House.
It's In Your House.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because there's if you just look at the list of pay-per-views, it has Bad Blood 03 and Bad Blood 04, and those are not what you want. So this
is Bad Blood with 2 Ds.
There is a Hell in a Cell at that Bad Blood. So. Is that my favorite call ever?
Maybe we'll throw that in as a little bonus clip.
Yeah.
Anyway, here, if you're a cheapskate like me, you gotta make sure you get through all the ads here on Peacock. If you got the Premium Plus package or whatever, like this baller, Mr. Travis White, you can go ahead and just queue it up.
It's the same price as a network.
Hey, man. I can't support it. We're at 2 hours, 9 minutes, 22 seconds. So that is where we're going to queue it up here. 2 hours, 9 minutes, 22 seconds. We have skipped through Shawn Michaels' interview backstage. We skipped through the video package. We're just going to get right to the action.
Is that where Shawn's chewing gum is?
You just talking about every Shawn Michaels promo from 1997.
Yeah. It was just like, why was that?
So annoying.
I'm a heel now. I'm just like, dude, it is annoying.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it worked. So we're looking at Sergeant Slaughter, and I think that's Mike Chioda's butt staring at us in the screen.
And then you got Dan the Beast Severn in the audience there.
In the front row. So that's what we're looking at here. Once again, 2 hours, 9 minutes, 22 seconds. If you need to put us on pause to queue it up, get through the commercials or all that nonsense, go ahead and do that. But if not, or whenever you're ready, Travis, why don't you count us down?
All right, I'll go 3, 2, 1, play, and we'll hit play. So ready? And 3, 2, 1, play.
I forgot for a second that I have to hit play also.
You also have to hit play. Checking the milk crate there. Looking for anybody scary under there, that flashlight that everybody's dad had.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at those shoes. He's got the tassels on, like senior pastor of the Baptist church shoes.
That's what he's dressed like, man. Deacon Slaughter over here.
Extra turnbuckles down there. What are they looking for?
I don't see Hornswoggle.
Is this like I bet it's like a Welcome to Taker's House. So
it's like what?
That new Netflix thing, Welcome to Taker's House, or whatever it's called.
Hanging with Mr. Taker.
Not Mike Chioda.
That's all Hebs.
All Hebs.
All Hebs himself. So, of course, Slaughter is making sure there's no shenanigans going on here underneath the ring. Nobody hiding out to get into the ring. How old is he here? He's probably 37.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I was going to say, he's probably like 3 years older than we are now, and he looks atrocious. Like Triple H. Yo, Jimmy, hit me with that Triple H. H coming out with a giant shirt. You'd never catch him dead nowadays. All his shirts are real tight.
I know that was
China
a style
with
back
the
then.
Outfit. I had the toy of China that had that outfit on.
Absolutely.
Here comes the European champion himself.
With the coveted European
King
championship.
of Europe. That's right, dude.
Okay, so Slaughter would have been... That cannot be right.
High fives.
Okay, I'm not doing my math right. Sorry, you hear my dog in the background. He would have been 49.
Triple H. 49?
Slaughter.
I mean, still. He looks like he's 69.
Oh, yeah,
and then
easily.
the secret weapon, Rick Rude, comes out last.
Secret
there
weapon.
he is, gum smacking. Come smacker. Oh, man. Secret weapon. You know, it's funny because Rude's the first guy to ever appear on Nitro and Raw on the same night. And there was a few weeks ago, there was a girl who was on Dynamite and NXT in the same night or something, or same. And then the other week, there was somebody who was on, I think, Dynamite and NXT wrestling in the same week. So
There's
pretty
been
funny.
a few of those, yeah.
Yeah. WWF European Champion Shawn Michaels. How do you feel about this outfit?
It's one of my favorites. I don't understand it.
Thank you.
I don't know what.
Nope,
I don't know.
I love it though.
Shawn Michaels, come on, some of the best gear of all time.
Except for his brown pants he wore when he won the title in 2002.
Got great T-shirts. This was.
He does. Look at you.
I got this shirt in the 4th grade. Shawn Michaels shirt. It was a package deal with
look
some
at that.
leather gloves, leather Shawn Michaels gloves, and sunglasses. I was the coolest kid in school, man.
Oh yeah.
I cannot believe
And just think about
my
it.
mom let me wear a shirt
like
like
a
that.
half naked dude like on your shirt, like just cool. Like we were all like, yeah, bro, too sweet. Like, and here comes, dude. Look at this structure coming down. It is gigantic. At the time, again, this is the first one. So at the time, we don't know what to expect from this. They say it's going to be a Hell in a Cell, but we don't really know in '97 what does that mean.
Exactly.
And essentially, it's a cage it's a cage match with a roof, but the cage goes outside. It leaves room outside. You know, and usually the cage comes down flush with the apron, but this is going to leave some more room to play with.
Oh yeah,
but a giant structure.
I love that the lights just kind of flickered there for a minute. Undertaker hadn't even really started his entrance yet, as the cell's coming down here. That was a cool, nice touch. As the lights go out all the way, and the fireflies come out. Those are lighters, ladies and gentlemen. Those are not cell phones.
Yeah,
those
are for cigarettes. Yeah,
those are legitimate lighters.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's weird to think about. Like, we're so used to Hell in a Cell, and you would take it for granted. But, dude, it was jaw dropping in 1997. Like, you couldn't comprehend something that massive because even War Games, which this I guess that's the closest thing you can compare it to. It stopped at the ring. You know, it had a roof on it, which was cool. And I always loved War Games.
It's low,
but
though.
It's low, and it didn't go all the way to the
low.
ground. This is like the biggest structure you'd ever seen in wrestling up to this point.
And there he is, Taker, making his way down. Blue light special. Everybody's just looking on in awe of him. It's just, what a presence, dude. So good.
Absolutely.
With that lighter, close up on that lighter.
Oh, what a shot.
I like that. What a shot. Good job, cameraman, Kevin Dunn. Oh, and so what's that match in the Omni in Atlanta? It's the Cell. It's a cage match with a roof on it.
The Last Battle of
Atlanta.
With
so that
Buzz Sawyer and I want to say Tommy Rich. I don't know if that's right.
Tommy Rich, I think. Yeah. Great match. Great,
yeah, that
stuff.
Is allegedly what inspired this.
Yeah, and depending on which camp you're in and who you believe. So Vince Russo is head writer at this point in WWF, and Jim Cornette's also on the creative team. So depending on, again, like I said, which camp it is, Cornette claims he brought up the Last Battle of Atlanta match, and let's put a cage and put a roof on it. He didn't necessarily have the parameters of it going around the apron and all that stuff, but he's allegedly the one. But then Russo also said, no, we got to contain them. It's got to be something different no one's ever seen before. And he says he just threw out the name Hell in a Cell. Again, it doesn't matter. I don't care, bro, who it is, bro.
Somewhere in between.
With it, bro. The truth somewhere in between there. But either way, it's kind of cool that, both those guys may have had a hand. And like I said, it's probably a mixture of both. Oh, love that entrance.
Yes.
Love that. Shawn freaking out. Because that's back when Taker would raise his arms and boom, the lights would just come on.
Not an Adam Cole baby boom, but Undertaker boom. He invented the
Undertaker boom. He did. Oh man, imagine when he did that and said Undertaker baby. That'd be crazy. So look, Shawn is freaking out now. He's selling this so well. Hebner is padlocking the cell up, and Shawn's really selling that. That heel. He wants to get out. He's terrified.
He doesn't know what he got himself into.
Exactly, because he's ticked off the big man. He's he's got the upper hand on him. Hit him, cost him the title. Had that schmoz finish last month.
Taker just casually
look at that.
dropping his jacket off. He's just like licking his chops, like ready to destroy this man. Get his payback, get his revenge. He thinks he can. He's finally going to do it after all these months of Shawn just tormenting him and getting away from him. And he's stalking his prey, dude. The apex predator.
He's not coming at him out the gate, like just running at him. He's just stalking him, slow
shaking his head. Oh man, just the atmosphere, the presence here.
It's so good. But again, the whole thing is we got to stay in the cage. We got to keep them contained. We can't have outside interference. Can't have DX, which I don't think they were called DX yet, but can't have them coming in. Can't have anybody else. So, but then
massive boot from Undertaker to Shawn, and Shawn bumping like a madman. One boot,
bumping like only Shawn can. And Shawn can bump like nobody else, but he can also overdo it sometimes. But he's not here. This is not overdoing it.
No, because it's the
I know
Undertaker.
It looks like a lot. Thank you. Yeah, that was my point. It's Taker. He's not in there with Sparky T Plug or whatever. Like, I love that. Love it.
That's a backflip
Love
off
that.
a shot
It's
to the turnbuckle
best.
here.
Oh, I love it. It's gonna be hard to commentary. I just want to watch this match.
I know.
This
I
match
just
is so good.
get roped into it, man.
It's so good.
But man, like you're saying,
And there's just
oh, go ahead.
no. There's just nothing like these two guys, man. That's all I was gonna say. Goozle, ooh, kick to the knee. Shawn taking it to Taker.
We would have both been 11 years old when this match took place. I know we didn't watch it live on pay-per-view, but I vividly remember renting it. I remember exactly the video store I was at when I rented it to, and I remember that cover with Undertaker holding another Undertaker's head, which didn't make a lot of sense, but there it was.
Ooh.
But yeah, this would have been one of the first wrestling matches we really talked about and like got into, because it was, it was so different. I was thinking the other day, like, when was the last time there was a new match, new gimmick like this that really invented, that like took your breath away? Like
Elimination Chamber, probably.
And that was 20 years ago. Like
that was almost 20 years ago.
You just don't see that sort of innovation anymore. Which,
Yeah, the ladder match was huge. This
Right.
match was huge, game changing, and then Elimination Chamber, which again people say, well, it's just a cell with pods. No, it's got a War Games like feel. You got the pods, you got time intervals. It's cool. I like.
Yeah, I
Elimination
think it's
Chamber.
good. Yeah, I mean, it's been around for 20 years, too.
But you're
It's
right. It's been
established.
20 years. Taker going for the old school.
Old school.
Boom.
Nobody sells
Somehow
it like
knocked
Shawn.
Shawn up off of the ring.
And this is that's what this whole opening section of this match is Undertaker getting his payback on Shawn Michaels.
Right.
This is what the match at Ground Zero should have been. In Undertaker's eyes, like that's what he wanted to be. He wanted to pick Shawn Michaels apart. He hasn't had a chance to yet. Finally, they're in this structure. Shawn can't run away anymore, and so the cowardly heel Shawn Michaels is getting his comeuppance.
Yep, this is what it should be. Taker's just handing him his butt right here.
Massive leg drop.
Going for a pin. Again, Taker goes for pinfalls. He tries to win matches.
I will say, though, and we talked about it in this episode, I don't think he should do that here. That's like my only nitpick with this match, is he's waited so long to get his hands on Shawn Michaels. Why, in theory, would he go for a pinfall 2 minutes in?
Yeah.
Why would he not just continue to decimate him?
Beat him. Shawn's feet hit the top of that cell when he just went up for that, whatever. He got tossed over Taker's back.
Wow.
That was crazy. Look at Taker's just punching him, and Shawn just hitting the mat every time.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
They're both, it's so fun to see them so young at this point.
Yeah. Ooh.
That took some years off of Shawn's career right there. Over the top rope, straight to the floor. Yeesh.
Like you said, this is only their second match.
Yes.
Pay-per-view match. It's just crazy.
And they're all
chemistry they
bangers,
have.
man.
Yeah.
Except for Saudi Arabia, but
Oh,
We'll let that one slide.
Was a banger and mash. All right, so Sean's trying to get out the inside of the cell.
And he
climb up just to get away from Taker.
And he just bumped into the cameraman for the first time as well. So keep that in mind here as we go through this. Sean, in this enclosed structure, you got, looks like 3 cameramen already in this tight space. And Sean keeps having issues running into those guys. And you're watching this live in 1997. You think that's a shoot. You think, oh, dang, like it's like so small they're bumping into the cameraman in there. But it's really this really subtle, smart storyline.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I remember even watching it back for episode 42, just not remembering that was part of the story, being like, dude, what is wrong with this cameraman? Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot. So, because it's been so long since I've seen it. But just the way Sean's getting whipped into the cell, like you hadn't seen anything like this before.
And it establishes the brutality of this match. You kind of have to do it here in this first one. You gotta have the cell play a part of it, which doesn't always happen anymore. Some matches will still do a little bit, but sometimes you see a Hell in a Cell match these days, and it's like, why was that even in Hell in a Cell?
Yeah. Well, it's because it was the month it was, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, nowadays they bring out lots of, as JBL calls them, toys. It's all about the kendo sticks and the tables and the chairs and all that kind of stuff. So Taker's going for a pile driver in the corner. Sean's trying to reverse it. Going to go up.
Last ride. No.
Ooh. Boom, 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 boom. Just hammer fist right in Taker's face.
But it's not enough.
Ooh. Nope. Ooh.
Sean getting
Taker's just...
power bombed back into the cage. Sean's bagging, sagging Barry over here. Drawers hanging down.
That's not abnormal for Shawn Michaels.
That's true.
So, a lot of just old white men in the front row right there.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
And that you got off the golf course, came and watch this match.
I believe this took place in St. Louis. In the Kiel Center, I think is the name of it.
Yep.
Classic wrestling town.
Oh, yeah.
Strikes that is sort of...
Is that where Royal Rumble's going to be next year? They just announced?
Oh, it is?
I believe so.
Okay. Take it with some sort of biker taker. Those strikes to the chest there of Shawn Michaels. I don't remember him doing that so much in this era.
Picking him up like a baby. Just going to ram him into the edge. Oh, nope. Into the post.
Ooh, back into the edge. Forth. Ping-ponging him.
Oh, pinball wizard. Oh, man. Just look at that. Sean's just perfect. Playing his role perfectly. Take it with a teardrop. Oh, you know why he's got a teardrop? Because he killed a guy back in Memphis.
Killed a
4 guys or whatever. Pushing up daisies.
Episode 191 of Talking Taker, folks. If you haven't listened to it yet. Main Event Monsters. Mark Calloway in Memphis. Check it out.
Here it goes. Oh, I love this part. Oh, yeah. Ooh, Taker's not having that, though.
He's not having it, man. Sean's face. That's a shoot, folks. That is... I think that's how he is feeling on this night.
Oh, yeah. I think so. I think so too.
Had some nice feedback on our Memphis episode. Mark Short on Facebook said he hadn't laughed that much in ages. So,
me either. Welcome to the club, Mark.
A lot of nice comments from listeners.
Ooh.
Oh, taking him to Pity City. Yeah. Taking a page out of the Nasty Boys book.
And look, Sean just happened to fall on the stairs and just sold it, Now Taker's choking him. Now Taker's just taking it to him, just like, I'm going to make you suffer in this match.
Sean has not gotten anything.
Nothing. Aside from some punches, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing that's, lasted. Going for another Irish whip. Oh, inside. Oh. Well, it's kind of fell.
Yeah, Taker slipped a little bit on that Irish whip, and he goes down, and Sean takes advantage of it, man. Just punching him. He's in a
But
fight.
again, it's just simple
It's
punches.
in a wrestling
Yep.
match.
Yeah, exactly. This is a fight. Two guys just going at each other.
And as we're doing commentary here, Vince McMahon on commentary on the outside. This was his final ever pay-per-view doing commentary
Ooh,
for a
good
full show.
stat.
Yeah, of course he'd come in for one-offs and things like that. But yeah, he is not on Survivor Series because of something went on backstage. Called the Montreal Screw Job. But yeah, and then ever since then he's Mr. McMahon. Oh, apron stunner.
Number one stunner. And Sean just takes it like a champion.
Took
Took that like a Scott Hall.
Yes.
At WrestleMania
Exactly.
X8. Yeah. They click. They got it. They know how to sell the stunner.
That's right.
Sean.
Another desperation move. Yep.
Ooh,
Knocks Taker off the
Jumped
apron.
off, hit the cell.
Into the cell.
Got a nice view of the padlock there. Thanks a lot, Kevin Dunn. We appreciate it.
Oh,
Sean's going to just go for it.
Dive. Oh, that's where all the NXT guys learned it from.
That's where Johnny Gargano learned it from. Yeah. This boy. No, but again, you would have only seen that move right there on the first hour of Nitro. Like the cruiserweights and stuff, you know? You didn't see that on main event matches in WWF.
Now you see it in every match.
Literally every match on Dynamite, every match on NXT. I mean, most regular matches in WWE. It's so prostituted, man.
Yeah, I'd be fine if I never saw one for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I do love the move we just saw right before this with Sean, where he climbs up the cage halfway and then drops an elbow drop down on the Undertaker onto the floor. That was really well done. Very creative use of the cell. And
again, so ECW is getting hot. I can't remember. Have they had guilty as charged yet or not?
Barely Legal?
Barely Legal, I mean.
Yeah. It was, I think it was summer of 97.
Yeah. So they had it already. But, and WWF helped him out and did all that crossover stuff. But, this is borrowing from, the zeitgeist of an ECW, and like an elbow drop like that, you would have seen maybe a Cactus Jack do it in WCW back in the day, but you wouldn't have seen a lot of just main event WWF guys do what Sean just did. You wouldn't have seen that. So this is a big game changer. Does he have a belly button ring in?
Ooh, I have not noticed that yet. Maybe we'll get a close up.
I think we. All right, Sean's getting real close to the camera, man. So, again, remember that.
Yep, it happens again. Oh, and he nearly murders Undertaker going for a pile driver.
Taker.
Oh, no.
Oh,
pile driver on the stairs from Sean to Taker.
Word. Oh, my goodness. That hurts.
Shoves the camera guy out of the way again. Sean is getting really frustrated with this cameraman, getting his business.
And again, you think it's a shoot because Sean's notorious for this. He kicks Vader in the face.
Yes. He has his temper tantrums.
Temper tantrum Shawn Michaels. Like, it wasn't uncommon to see that. So I love that they brought that into, they brought that shoot into a work. It's great. Smart stuff.
But back to what you were saying with ECW, you could really see that influence here as this, up to this point, this is like the most violent WWF match ever. I mean, we're talking about the Hogan Ultimate Warrior territory here. Of course, WCW would have war games and bloodbaths and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That just didn't happen in the WWF.
No.
And then from this point on, of course, we go through the Attitude Era, and it's commonplace. And, less than a year after this, Mick Foley's flying off the top of Hell in a Cell.
It's changing the game forever, yeah.
This took things up to a new level.
It did. It really did. It absolutely did. It changed the game, man. And it's just, again, ECW, if they weren't changing the style, WWF would never had the Attitude Era, because again, even WCW they weren't doing blood and guts, but they were having crazy high flying cruiserweight stuff, and guys in the mid card like a Jericho, a Benoit, Saturn. Just those guys were doing some just athletic stuff. And versus WWF, all you had was Shawn and Brett doing athleticism. Everybody else was 10'5" and 385 pounds.
That's right.
So, Vince McMahon, type guy. So really, really different time in the business where a lot of change. Not unlike the current era that we live in.
Sure.
Where things are changing. A lot of change going on. Competition breeds fun for the fans.
Exactly. That we're the real winners in all this.
Yeah.
You talked about toys coming into play here, as Shawn Michaels has got the steel chair in the ring, throws it out of frustration after he's hit Undertaker with it a few times. But again, I love that the chair has been a part of their storyline this whole time.
Yeah.
It's part of the SummerSlam match. They had a massive chair shot on an episode of Raw between these two guys, and now it comes into play again. It's not just a kendo stick. It's not just a table for no reason. That chair has been part of this storyline between these guys.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because nowadays they'll be like, when we get in Hell in a Cell, I'm going to beat you with a kendo stick. Well, that shouldn't be a guarantee that's there. It's not like
exactly.
It's not like it's not a Hell in a Cell with toys match. It's a Hell in a Cell. So, yeah. Or they'll just pull it out and everybody pops for it. But yeah, this made sense. It was storytelling, which is my favorite part of wrestling.
Yep.
Is the story. The match is what it is, but the story has got to fit the match. Shawn's trying to tie up Taker's arms in the ropes. Having a little bit of trouble, but he got it.
He got him in there.
Just don't tie your ear up, boy.
Yeah. Watch the ear.
Yeah. Oh. It's always weird to see Taker tied up in the ropes because he's so big and so tall.
Yeah, it's the old Andre the Giant spot, man.
Mm-hmm.
Andre would always do that in his matches.
Mm-hmm.
Sean,
let's get a little handsy.
Ooh. Big boot. Taker pops out.
Sean's just rope-a-doping. Going, okay, here it is. Back body drop over the top onto the camera guy. And then you think, it looks right here like this is just Shawn getting mad because this guy blew his spot. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
He punches the ref in the
face. Gets punched down. Black machismo.
Oh my goodness.
It could
be. What? I want that. I want that outfit he got on.
I'll send you an Instagram.
Talked about that on here before.
I'll send you a link. I've seen him for sale.
Oh, I can't afford them.
Couple $100.
WWF television. No, I can't afford that.
You could wear it to work.
I could. They wouldn't care.
They wouldn't care.
So, Shawn's punch Taker. Nice picking up Black machismo. It looks like Woods.
Maybe it's Xavier Woods. I don't know. It's definitely a worker. It's definitely a wrestler, as we're seeing here.
Pinky ring worth about 50.
Sean is beating
Sean's got potato chips on his back.
This poor defenseless camera. I think that's a Gold Dust specs.
Yeah.
Which you watch pay-per-views from 96, 97. Every time after Gold Dust wrestles, the next few wrestlers always have Gold Dust confetti.
Flakes.
But yeah, this cameraman, poor defenseless cameraman, has been beaten up by Shawn Michaels. And now they're going to have to get a medic out to the ring to get this poor guy some help. He is dead out there, not moving. And that's going to open up the door into the Hell in a Cell. And what a great, creative, unique way to get around this whole idea of having him locked in the cell.
Shawn just did a kip up there, which is great because when he's a babyface or a heel, you can do that, and you can get totally different reactions. You do it as a babyface, it's come back. You do it as a heel, it's like, what a show off, what a jerk. Ooh, love that elbow drop. That's one of my favorite elbow drops right there. That particular one right there.
Yes,
I love that elbow drop in this match.
And Deacon Slaughter is back
just
out.
come down. Deacon Slaughter. Finance committee meeting after. Shawn tuning up the band. Slaughter's in there picking up Xavier Woods.
And the cell door is open. The cell door, which was supposed to keep these two guys locked in and everybody out, has had to be opened for this tragedy. I love it.
But again, sweet chin music. That should be the end right there.
No, he just sits up immediately.
Look at the crowd. They got up for that.
How could you not?
And Sean is terrified.
Sean sees an opening. Yep, he's running away.
Literally. You know, this cameraman's outfit was like a precursor to Eric Rowan.
Yes, that's probably where I got the idea from.
Here comes with fair spots.
The old toss.
Right here he goes, blade. Boom!
Yep. If you looked closely right there, as Sean is on the ground, right before Taker tosses him up, you see Sean's hand go right across his forehead. And
disposable cameras, dude. Oh, Sean is bloody.
Immediately. It is gushing. Goodness.
Oh, man. Yeah, Taker's just putting it to that wound. And here goes. This is one of my favorite spots of the whole match. And I think this was after the Rey Mysterio spot. Oh, but that bloody lawn dart into the side of the cell.
This would have been like a year after that.
Perfect.
It is. It's a great visual with the blood pouring down Sean's face. Yes. Great use of the cage here. He's going to go for it again. Great camera shot. Sean lingers and sells it and just collapses to the ground.
Sean is just in a bloody heap, back against the cell. Taker's just taking it in. What's he going to do? Oh, let's do it again.
That'll do it. Shot to Death Valley.
Ooh. But see, Sean's desperate. He's losing blood now. He's getting his butt handed to him for 15 minutes now. What's he got to do?
He's fighting for his life at this point.
Yeah. Gonna go low on the dead man.
So he can't get around Undertaker to run to the back. Well, I guess I'll just try to climb up here to get away from
go up top. Notice here, there are no footholds cut in this, like nowadays.
Great point. Yep. Swats Taker down. And again, you just can't put over enough how unheard of this was in the WWF at this point. Really, in wrestling. I mean, maybe in ECW, I guess they've done a few things, like Brian Lee, who gets chokeslammed off the scaffolding through the tables and stuff like that. But just on mainstream WWF pay-per-view wrestling, this is wild. As an 11-year-old kid, my mind is blown.
That scared me. The blood on the cameraman.
That's incredible. Right there. Yeah, what a shot. What a shot.
Yeah, that back body drop on the cell is awesome. And now Sean's just going to get his head cheese grated by Taker. And the blood spec is perfect.
Wow. You can't plan that sort of stuff.
No. They didn't plan that. That spec is awesome. It's great visuals. Great storytelling. Again, and there's great commentary going along with this that we're talking over, but it's fantastic. JR has never seen anything like this. Vince is, what a maneuver! It's just good stuff, man.
Earl Hebner's trying to make himself part of the match.
Oh, it's just terrifying.
Screaming at these guys. Can you imagine being Sean?
Somebody. No, you're not sure it's not going to give.
Exactly.
Again,
or Taker's not going to drop you and like slip and fall and.
Oh! Sean bumped over the side. He's trying to climb down now. He's got to get away from the big scary monster. Sean's just hanging.
This is a main event monster match right here.
Yeah. Sean's hanging. Got his tippy toes on the middle rail there.
Hanging by a moment.
Hanging by a moment here with you.
One hand. Taker stomps on the hand. Boom!
Boom!
Through that table.
I mean, Tito Santana got out of the way just in time. Through the table, dude. Again, they did not go clear off the table at that point and they just went through it. You didn't choreograph that you were going to do that. Didn't give it away.
Dude,
look at that blood on the ground.
Yes, that's what I was. Oh man, he was just squirting out of his head. And look, okay,
yikes.
There's always been a bone of contention with us and the listeners as far as a match like this versus Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell. And that match is an incredible spectacle. It's an incredible sight to behold, but it just they're just spots in that match.
Yeah.
Like they just go up to the top of the cell just to set up for the spot. This has all the reasons why they get up to the top of the cell, and the storytelling where Taker steps on his hands and he finally collapses back into it. Is the Undertaker Mankind one more impressive? Of course, but this one, as far as storytelling and the way that we get there, is just it's on another level.
Yeah, it is, and it's got it all, man. It's got the two of the best characters and workers of all time. And yeah, the story that goes along, that threads through, that makes everything have a purpose. There's a reason that this happened. Oh, we get a double feature of him going through. I mean, this is the fourth time we've seen it. Look at that. Oh, man, it's great.
It's such a great spot. It's such a great moment.
It is.
Again, you've never seen anything like that up to this point. Sean is a bloody mess.
He's a mess.
I think he's
absolute mess.
Austin had his bloodbath in March of this year. I think this one's right up on par with it.
Ooh, it's just dripping out of his face. All right, they're back in the cell, so Hebner's going to lock it back up. And again, to get out of the cell, they didn't go grab bolt cutters from underneath the ring or spear each other through the cell. It was the camera guy had to get out, get medical attention. They walked out. It's cool, man. And again, so some people would say, and I've heard Russo say this at the beginning, he was like, we built this whole thing. I know he was being interviewed by it, and they were like, yeah, but you went out of the cell immediately. And he's like, yeah, but it was a story, like it told a story. Yeah.
Yes.
You could say that we blew the chance of, it defeated the purpose of the, but no, it meant something.
It mattered. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Choke slam off the top rope.
Oh my word. Crazy.
Again, they are just raising the stakes, heightening it with every move, every moment, and you just know Undertaker's about to hit this tombstone here in the next few minutes and put Shawn Michaels out of his misery here.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Taker has got another chair. Like we said, again, these steel chairs have played a huge part in this build-up.
Yep.
And he had that famous steel chair shot from Shawn to Taker on episode of Raw. Taker's about to lay one in.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and here he goes.
Throat slash time to put Shawn Michaels away.
That chair shot had been coming.
Yes. And the lights just went out. What is going on here? Again, this is pre-social media. This is pre-Reddit. There was a little bit of internet wrestling community, but nobody knew what was just about to happen here.
And here comes this guy, this giant monster of a man in front of Paul Bearer. But we don't know who this is. But Vince McMahon says
the iconic call. That's gotta be Kane.
And here he is.
Boom. The door off the cell.
The one that they just chained back. We just saw them chain it back.
Hebner
so we know
goes
it's secure.
Down. Taker
looks like he's seen a ghost.
Exactly. You've never seen Undertaker like this in 7 years.
No. Nope.
You've never seen him. It would show this fear.
Yeah, even with Mankind, he wasn't as afraid as this. Kane's bigger than him.
Yes. You have
taller than him.
Mysterious red light. Yeah,
this is pre-fiend,
pre-fiend, pre-demon.
Well,
Kane towering.
But just this stare off. I mean, at this point, you're getting it. You're in the crowd. You're like, I got some. Oh, the flames come up.
Undertaker sells it.
Okay. To the gut.
Kane. Got to figure out where the camera is. Let me do a little twist. And back around.
And then he drops him. Has anybody ever tombstone Taker at this point?
Actually, yes. We had seen it in a couple matches. I think Goldust did randomly.
Yeah. That's right.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't make a big deal out of it as we have here. Paul Bearer, I think he just threw a soda on Earl Hebner to wake him up.
Yeah, to wake him up.
Like another just extra touch here.
He's so good. Yeah, this is for the number one contender, right? For the title.
Yeah. I think that was on the line here. Because Sean's going to go on to face Bret Hart at Survivor Series.
Crawls over, doesn't make a cocky, arrogant pin, just lifeless body, barely crawls, gets his hand over. Hebner's taking his time. Again, 1, a desperate 2. Here we go. Wow, this is a 13 count. 2.
Slowest count ever.
Oh, that was 3.
That was 3, yeah.
Okay, sorry. But look, Taker is dead, and he has never been put out like this.
And
Sean is a bloody heap.
Yeah, Sean wins, quote unquote, but he has been beaten within an inch of his life. He didn't do anything to earn that win. He got this cheapest win of all time. He ends it with barely his arm draped across Undertaker. So it just makes you hate Shawn Michaels even more because he had all the odds stacked against him where you thought he was finally going to get his comeuppance. And he does physically, and yet somehow he still walks away getting the win. And it's so frustrating as a fan, but in the best way because it makes you want to come back on the next
storytelling.
night.
Triple H is having to raise Sean's hand for him to celebrate. Like, that is just beautiful.
I never noticed that.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
What a great touch.
So perfect. And I guarantee it's a Pat Patterson finish right there, too. The way Sean just kind of crawled over, and that's just, Patterson was so good at it.
And he's getting some drinks thrown at him. You can see that, that was the thing.
Triple H holding his hand up is so awesome. I love that.
I never thought about that. Wow.
Getting a little action. But again, Taker is just in the ring, just selling this devastation from this tombstone.
We get a look back at the replay here. The Undertaker's long lost brother. We didn't know what he looked like, what he would be. And let's give some credit to Kane here because, I mean, he plays his part perfectly. The outfit is so perfect. You know, this would not have worked if Glenn Jacobs, if Isaac Yankem, fake Diesel, had just walked out here. But the mask, the glove, the head-to-toe red outfit, everything just works out perfectly. It is maybe the best debut of all time of a wrestling character. I mean, Undertaker's was awesome. Kane might be even better.
Yeah, probably so.
It's hard to argue.
Taker's finally starting to stir and get up, but he just looks like he's been in a fight. And really, he just owned the match, but then Kane put him out.
You're so frustrated as a fan. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Man. So how does it hold up for you, dude? Do you still feel it to be the number one? What are your thoughts watching it back here tonight?
I absolutely love it. Again, it's hard to talk about that match while watching because I'm so enthralled with it. Yeah. It's easy to watch PWatch that matches and laugh and talk over them because they're ridiculous.
Right.
And you don't have it in. But that match is difficult to talk over because it's so good. There's nothing to put big holes in. You know, there's no holes to point out and say this is wrong. Like, it was so good. Yeah, that's one of my favorite matches of all time. I never tire of watching that match ever.
And what is it about it that really sets it apart from, say, Shawn Michaels and Undertaker at WrestleMania 25, which is awesome in all its own unique ways? But for you, how do you separate those two? What puts that level up?
I think it's it being one of the first times they interacted, it being the first Hell in a Cell, it being the story. Again, the story of WrestleMania 25 was, we haven't wrestled WrestleMania, we're going to wrestle. You know, like, so this was all about the world title, all about it. Everything meant something. The storytelling throughout the match of how they got in and out of the cage and all that. And just the debut of Kane, too, which becomes such an iconic character. And I think all of it is just, and just the little iconic images you see of Sean getting lawn darted in there and Taker looking bewildered when his brother comes out. Just all those things. I think it just all wrapped into one neat little package. It just takes me back to those times, and I just love this match. It's my favorite Taker match ever. So good, man. What about you?
I mean, I think you said it right there. It's the total package. No relation to Lex Luger, but it is everything. It's not a ton of like technical wrestling in there, but to me, that's not always what pro wrestling is.
Right.
Sometimes it is just punches and kicks and strikes and stuff like that. But because there's so much emotion, so much story to it, it clicks. And like, I would never argue with anybody who puts Shawn and Undertaker at Mania 25 as their number one.
I get it.
Not at all. Oh man, that match is fantastic, and there is story to that too. Yeah, the whole 4-year story with Shawn and Taker and Triple H across the WrestleManias. It's a fantastic story, one of the greatest long-term stories ever. But I do think, I think there's some sentimentality to the era of 1997, to watching it as a kid and just being so awestruck with it. It's got the storytelling, it's got the violence, it's got the emotion, it's got everything with Kane wrapped up into it, and so perfectly well done. I mean, it is the perfect sports entertainment match, and that's sometimes that's what you want out of pro wrestling. And for me, to me that one is just so much fun. No matter how many times you've seen it, to go back and watch it and to see all the nuance in there to it. It's it's a personal choice, but that's just personally what I pick as my number one. What it comes down to.
Art is subjective, but you and I, this is the best piece of art that Taker and Sean have ever put out. So
yeah, absolutely,
together,
man.
Yeah, but good stuff. And I think too, it's just got that little bit of violence. Again, I don't need a lot of violence in my wrestling, but just having that little bit of the blood and the chain, it takes me back to NWA days, and just Memphis, and just a little bit of more realism. I think that's why I like it a little bit. It's a little grittier, and just the unpolished table spot. It's not set up. It's not choreographed. It's not. I mean, it's not. You can't see it coming. It's just.
Yes.
It's just very fresh and raw, and I like that.
Great point, man. There's a great element of surprise to this match, and it's hard to really gauge that 24 years later when you've seen it so many times. But just thinking back, this was the first one. They invented so many different things with this style of match on this night, and it really influenced wrestling for so many years to come. I mean, there would be no King of the Ring 98 Hell in a Cell with Mankind without this match. It established that match style. Hell in a Cell is a huge part of WWE 24 years later. That would not be the case without this match.
Yeah, if this one sucked, they wouldn't have done it again.
They wouldn't have done Hell in a Cell 98 with Mankind. No, that wouldn't have happened. Kane was such a pivotal part of WWE's history. He's a freaking Hall of Famer, multi-time world champion because of this match and that moment. And I really do think, like, I'm not going to sit here and say this match, this moment helped turn the tide between WWF and WCW. But I think it was a piece of the puzzle, because I think this created so much buzz. And I remember as a kid, I wasn't as into WWF at the time. WCW was so hot at this point in time. But I remember hearing about this match and renting the video and getting drawn back into WWF, along with Stone Cold and along with the screw job and all that stuff. But this helped, man. Yeah. This helped just be so momentous and eye-catching to wrap you back in as a fan.
Yep. I don't think there's anything else we can add to that, man. It's perfect.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up.
That's perfect, dude.
Well, again, we loved doing this. It's still our number one Undertaker match of all time. You can go back to our grand finale episode 187, where we do wrap up the Undertaker's career and talk about our top 20 matches of his entire pay-per-view career. We share your fan votes for those matches. Of course, if you want to hear our very first, our original thoughts on this match. That's episode 42 of this podcast, and that's available in our archives wherever you listen to podcasts, man. So Apple Podcast, Google, YouTube,
MySpace.
all that stuff. So the older episodes
Napster.
are not on Spotify at the moment. I have to work on that sometime. I think they started episode 92 or something like that on Spotify because the formatting is wrong. So that's on my to-do list here. One of these weekends is to sit down and reformat those to get them up on Spotify, because not a lot of people listen to podcasts on Spotify, but everywhere else I believe you can hear all our other episodes and check those out.
Just when you get done, be kind and just please rewind.
Of course, you got
Just take it back to 1997.
absolutely, you had to with this tape.
Yeah.
I did hear we threw it out there to our listeners. We haven't done that so much these past few episodes, but asked for some memories and favorite moments from you, our creatures of the night. Of course, you can follow us at Talking Taker, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And Watch Along Tommy, you got to have him here in the comments here. He said he didn't appreciate this match live because it was the same show that they announced Brian Pillman's death, and it just made you so sad throughout. And then the pay-per-view was just a blur until Kane emerged, and then I was afraid of him as a youngster, so I never really went back to watch it. And it wasn't until years later where I heard Dave Meltzer gave this match 5 stars, which was incredibly rare for WWE matches at the time.
Yeah.
Still is for WWE matches. And I was curious if it was really that good, and it definitely is one of my favorite Hell in a Cell matches of all time. It's nowadays he gives out stars like the candy on Halloween. He's just throwing them out there for free. But he didn't do that so much back then.
New Japan, though.
Not WWE. So I mean, I don't think Dave Meltzer's star ratings are that important really in the grand scheme of things. But if that it is
it was a big deal.
Rare feat, definitely a big deal back
at the time.
Yep.
For sure.
And then our old buddy St. Ridley Santos said, I didn't get to see this match at the time. We were prepping to move that winter. I missed out on a lot of wrestling that fall. But when I got back to it in December, I saw Kane for the first time. And it didn't quite connect to me that he wasn't just the Undertaker in a new costume for a few minutes.
Oh, there you go.
Things were not as clear back in those internet days, or early internet days. I don't think I was trying to remember when I figured out that Kane was Isaac Yankem. It must have been months after this. I don't remember finding that out immediately. So, fun stuff here. We love interacting with you, our creatures of the night, on social media. So we'd love to hear from you about this match and what you thought about it. Of course, we want to hear from you. Please, on October 5th, once Escape the Undertaker drops on Netflix, tell us all about your thoughts with it. Tell us the path you chose. Tell us your favorite scenarios and endings in there, and we will talk all about that on our special bonus episode. Look for it towards the end of the month of October. We will drop it out there, but we will definitely be talking about it on social media. Up until that point, hit us up on tpublic.com. We got merch for sale. If you want one of Travis's beautiful Taker Easy shirts, you can get it on all sorts of merchandise as well. Shout out our podcast brothers. First up, I want to hit up the Bottom Line Wrestling Cast. They have actually completed the in-ring career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Absolutely. Give him that golf clap. No, we are so proud of you guys. Definitely want to recommend checking out their episodes covering that final match with Austin and Rock. Mike and JV share a little bit about the history of their podcast, how it got started and all that stuff.
Yeah, and they didn't want to get sentimental, but they did.
Couldn't help it. But I've actually been enjoying their episodes after the fact as well. They're continuing on covering Austin as the co-GM with Eric Bischoff and Sheriff. There's some funny stuff, man, that I forgot about. I literally laughed out loud listening to it because they played a clip of, you remember the Beer Bash with Stone Cold and Goldberg, what took place in Canada. And the King on commentary says, I think Stone Cold saw a sign on the way in here tonight that said, drink Canada dry, and now he's going to do it. mowing the yard. I had to
King.
stop.
Oh, King. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, King. This wasn't really a silly episode of our podcast, but that just brought it up. That's great. Yeah.
Gave me life.
Canada Dry.
Now he's gonna do it.
Oh, love Jerry Lawler.
And I want to shout out our buddy Collecting Dead Man, old Steven Zeman over there. He is collecting through the Dead Man's incredible array of merchandise on there. He's putting out a weekly podcast doing that. And if you enjoy our show, you might hear some voices you might recognize over on his feed as well. He does a number of watch-alongs on there. And our buddy Randy Turco has been on the show. I've been on there, as well as a few other listeners' name. That's the name of his podcast, if he ever comes out with one.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a freebie for you,
You're
Randy.
welcome. Freebie.
Turco's Delight. Oh, man. And that's all I really got, Travis. If you want to wrap it up with that. Unless you got anything else you want to plug.
I don't. Well, thank you guys for joining us again tonight. We appreciate it. Let us know your thoughts on this Hell in a Cell match, the first one. Why we're wrong, why it's not the number one. It's okay. It's okay if we disagree, because it's art, it's subjective. But anyway, we'll see you guys in a few weeks for the Netflix special, Big Show, the next special. So, otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out there. But most importantly, as the shirt says, actually this shirt says 1990 to 2018. This shirt's 3 years old.
Oh, you gotta get an updated one.
I have another one. I have an updated one. So,
okay, good.
Yeah, I just decided to rock the light gray one tonight. But anyway, most important, ladies and gentlemen, take her easy.